Hi, this is the map from Dora the Explorer, and you're watching a podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Roll it! Oh man, I wanted to say roll it too.
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Join Jake and his friends on a journey through pop culture of the past, where they interview professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and so much more. Who will they be chatting with today? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode.
Hello everyone, welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. I'm here with us. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm your host, Jake Duffenbaugh. With me today, as always, our co-host, Chris Bixby and Matt Bingo. Hey guys.
Doing good. Hello,
doing
everybody.
great. Hi, everyone. How are you, Jake?
Doing great, Matt. Thank you for asking. Wow, what an interview that you all were about to see. Matt, what do we have for today?
Ladies, gentlemen, they, them, and all. First of all, glad you're with us. Second of all, you folks are in for a real treat. We are so excited. Maryland native, which makes Jake and I very happy. You know, we love having Maryland natives.
Yeah.
Marylanders, yes. He is the voice, or was the voice, of Lucky the Leprechaun for the Lucky Charms commercials. Did several characters on Tom and Jerry, and he also did a lot of on-camera acting, including for the movie Lovely Molly, which was directed by Eduardo Sanchez, who also directed the Blair Witch Project 25 years ago. But most of you will know him as the voice of Donald Duck. Yes, folks, we got the voice of Donald Duck. At least in the Disney Junior series, Mickey and the Roadster Racers. This is one you're not going to miss.
Too.
Yes. Among others, too. We go into a lot more, but voice of Donald Duck. Can't believe I'm saying that. That's nuts. Here's our interview with the amazingly talented Daniel Ross. Let's kick it.
Yes. Take care to you. See ya.
Roll it.
Hello everyone, welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive.
Yes, Matt, tell us a little bit about the interview we have today.
As I said in the introduction, you folks are in for a treat. I've already explained everything in the introduction, so I'm not going to do it here. Please welcome we're truly honored to have him. Please welcome Daniel Ross. Daniel, welcome. Happy to have you here, man. How you doing?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are delighted
to
have you. Yes, we're very excited to have you here.
The pleasure is all mine.
Terrific. Terrific. So to kick this off,
Likewise.
Could you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes, I'm a Leo. I like long walks on the beach, blackened chicken, Alfredo pasta. I like birds, Transformers. I'm a voice actor. That's probably why you're talking to me. I voiced characters for TV, movie, video games, and I loves it quite a bit. What can I tell you? I'm in Los Angeles. I do this for a living. It's a great job, and I'm happy to be doing it.
Nice.
That's wonderful to hear. So, what was your childhood like, and how did you grow up?
Well, like most people, growing up, I didn't eat many of my vegetables. My parents were very upset about that. Where did I grow up? I grew up in a place called Maryland. It's a nice state here in the United States.
Yeah.
Where Jake and Matt are. Jake and Matt are in Maryland.
Both of us are in Maryland.
Marylanders,
Silver
let's
Spring.
go.
Born in
Marylanders,
Silver
born in
Spring.
And that is Silver Spring. That's where I was born. That's where I was
Hey,
born.
there we go.
I didn't know that.
Nice.
Hey,
I didn't know
Cool.
that. I'm just
high five
outside
to you,
of Baltimore.
Daniel. That's great.
Wow.
Well,
Full
then you
circle.
guys will
I'm just
probably
outside of
know,
Baltimore.
I went to school. I graduated high school at Springbrook High School. Went to Montgomery College in Rockville, and I studied theater vertically. That's how I grew up, which is how normal human beings do it, as far as I'm told. It was a good childhood. I had friends to play with, a bike to ride. Dug in the dirt and played with worms in my mom's garden, and I was a normal kid. But I would get into lots of trouble because I used to do prank phone calls and
Uh,
impersonate cartoon characters and my teachers and get into all kinds of trouble. Not knowing that later in life that would actually be how I'd earn my income. So,
Mm.
kudos for my younger self getting through all that.
Absolutely. So I'm kind of curious, did you always want to be an actor?
From an early age, I always enjoyed the performing arts. I loved the
Hmm.
escapism of going to a cool movie and seeing things that I may never see with my own eyes or feeling emotions that I didn't know how to understand and things like that. I love the art of storytelling. And so, you put me in front of an audience and I'm just like, I'm cheesing from ear to ear. So, yeah, I've always enjoyed the performing arts. I got into it early, studied Shakespeare, studied theater. My major in college was musical theater. And then I again pivoted to film and TV and now voice acting. And it's like, hey, what's next? I'm actually getting back to on camera, which is a really fun thing for me. I have a movie coming out called Stinky Summer, which is really awesome. They'll be coming out September 10th. So you can check that out on streaming and on demand, which is fun.
Nice, nice.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Great, great. So I'm curious, do you remember your first professional acting role?
Yes, my first professional acting role. So I would say the first thing that I got paid for in terms of voiceover, the biggest thing would probably be Transformers the game back in 2007. I voiced Starscream, leader of the Decepticons. Yeah. And that was just a dream come true because I'm a huge Transformers fan. I mean, come on, Optimus Prime approves. And what can I say? That was the dream come true, and it introduced me to other voice actors who were very influential to me. It's always amazing when you meet people and they're very much like you and you're very similar to them, and you're like, hey, you do a job that I really love and I think I should have. Why not me? And so yeah, that was the first time I was like, oh, voice acting. Voice acting could be cool because I really just positioned myself for on camera work, and I did a lot of independent films and things like that.
Nice.
Mhm.
Awesome. So, early on in your career, you played various roles on the HBO series The Wire. What was that like?
Oh my gosh, The Wire. That was again in Baltimore. That was an amazing experience for me.
Nice.
I was mostly just an extra. There were a couple days I worked as a stand-in, but I was around all the celebrities that were on set, and I got to meet a lot of people, folks like Idris Elba, Method Man. It was such an incredible experience to be on a movie set or a TV show set and to experience that. And it really encouraged me to keep going and to try to aspire to bigger things. But I love The Wire. It's such a great show.
Nice. Absolutely. So what
Absolutely.
was it like acting and executive producing on the Ninjas versus Zombies movies?
Well, Ninjas versus Zombies, that is one of my babies. That was conceived between me and my best friend Justin Timpain. We walked around a Blockbuster store one day and we're just like, what movie isn't here? And we just said Ninjas versus Zombies. That's what came to mind. But we were both huge fans of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, early Joss Whedon works, Kevin Smith. And we really wanted to kind of live in that world of horror comedy. And so that's what we aimed to do. We did this, very low budget movie, Ninjas versus Zombies, and we found some success with it. And so we followed up with Ninjas versus Vampires, which took off exponentially. And then we finished a trilogy with Ninjas versus Monsters. I don't know if you can tell who won in all three movies. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was a dream come true, and it really taught me a lot about bringing people together to collaborate creatively and make something, which was just astounding. Those people became my family, and I stay in touch with them all these years later.
Nice.
That's awesome. So you also acted in the supernatural horror film Lovely Molly, which, for those who do not know, was directed by Eduardo Sanchez, who also directed the Blair Witch Project as well. What was it like acting in Lovely Molly?
Oh, that was a great experience. Believe it or not, I actually just had coffee a couple days ago with its star, Gretchen Lodge, who played Molly. And we were catching up just about this very thing. Ed Sanchez, as you mentioned, the director of Blair Witch, came on as executive producer for my films, the Ninja movies, and was a huge influence in the independent film scene in Maryland. And so he's a great guy, really, really great guy, really passionate about what he does. And he was also involved in the movie I'm coming out with, Stinky Summer. So he's got himself in everything. And so Lovely Molly was really cool because we this was like a found footage in some respects. Parts of the movie were found footage, and other parts of it were a normal narrative. And so I came in for a wedding scene where I'm a videographer and I'm videoing all these moments that we're putting together for these characters. And so we had like 2 days worth of just hanging out with these other actors and improvising lives that we had and these relationships that we had, and adding some conflict and other things. It was just such a fun experiment and worked very well. But it was such a cool filming experience just to get to know these actors and hang out with them for a couple days and pretend we were all best friends for decades. So that was really a fun experience, and the movie turned out pretty good. It's a creepy movie. It is a creepy movie.
Nice, nice. So now, how did on-camera acting kind of transition into voice acting for you?
It was a journey. It really was a journey. I hate to say it, but I kind of always hated my voice. I wanted to be an actor on stage and screen, and I always found myself in character roles, or the fun neighbor, the quirky best friend, or the bad guy or something. And I really wanted to play the leading man, and I felt like my voice just wasn't conducive to that. And so, yeah, I didn't really like my voice until later on I discovered, wait, voice acting is a job that people can have. And I do that all the time. I'm doing impressions of, celebrities and cartoon characters, and again, getting into all kinds of trouble. So let me seek this out and see what's up. And yeah, after Transformers the game in 2007, I started to take it very seriously because I realized, well, maybe I can be successful here. Maybe this is where, my journey finds me. And so that was a pretty interesting revelation that I had. And then 2014, I packed up my car and I drove cross country from Frederick, Maryland, all the way to Los Angeles, California. And it's been quite an adventure ever since. I won an Emmy 2 years ago. I've been the voice of Donald Duck, Lucky the
Oh, that's
Leprechaun,
great.
Grimace from
Congratulations.
McDonald's.
That's on the Emmy. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, it's been amazing. And so, once you climb one mountain, you find yourself a new one. And so that's kind of what I'm
Yep.
trying to discover now.
So
Nice.
true. So true.
That's great. So of course, in the voiceover world, you're best known for voicing Donald Duck in various Disney projects. How do you kind of first began voicing him? Like,
What? How about that? That was, again, one of those things that just followed me since childhood. My mom taught me how to do that voice when I was a kid. And so, if I was at parties or with friends, they'd be like, do the voice, man, do the voice. And I would do the voice, and it would make people smile. And that was just always a small part of who I was. Like, I had a people trick. And so when I moved to LA, within the first year that I was here, there was an audition that went out, a very large audition for Donald Duck. And those characters are like Supreme Court nominations. You are in for life. And so I was just like, there's no way little old me is going to even have a shot with all the talent here in Los Angeles and all over the world. Like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. And so I gave it my best shot, and I got a call back. And then I got another call back, and then another call back. And then my agent called me and said, you booked it. You're doing the voice of Donald Duck. And so that was a life-changing moment for me. My mom, who again I lost a couple years ago, she
Mm.
was going through a really bad bout of cancer, and so this was, you know, sunshine and rainbows on a fairly yucky situation, and it just made both of our lives so much better for the time that I had her. And so, yeah, Donald meant so much to me. It meant so much to us. And yeah, I'm so grateful that I've had that opportunity and that people seem to like it. And people know that character worldwide. So
Oh yeah,
I've got nothing to
Mhm.
complain about.
Nope.
absolutely. So now I guess kind of like one of your earlier projects voicing Donald is on a Mickey and the Roadster Racers for for Disney Junior. What was that like?
Oh, it was incredible. It was incredible. So imagine me, new to Los Angeles. I'm, getting to know my new life out here. Everything I knew is completely different, and it's just an incredible place to be. And sunshine all the time, earthquakes, wildfires, avocado toast. It's very different than Maryland. With our Old Bay seasoning and crabs and Scrabble, and
Yep.
so
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
so I was just trying to navigate all of that, and I'm green behind the ears. I'm getting in the studio with famous people. I'm in the room with my idols and folks that I just dreamed of being able to say hello to. And to be in that position to record and to embody this character that means so much to me and so many other people, the weight of that on my shoulders was noticeable, and so I took it very seriously. I worked very hard to, listen to 80 plus years of Donald media, listening to Clarence Ducky Nash, Tony Anselmo, taking in as much as I could to try to find those little isms to bring Donald to life. Um, so that was really important to me, and the experience was just, I will never forget it in the entirety of my life. I will never forget the feeling of going from being a novice, not knowing what I was doing, to absolutely knowing what I was doing and feeling the presence of that character coming out of me into the microphone. That was amazing for me.
Awesome.
That's
That's
lovely. Another project that you kind of got me involved in with Donald too was Mickey Mouse's Mix-Up Adventures.
That's right. That's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So Mickey and
Yes.
the Roadster Racers event turned into Mickey Mouse Mixed Up Adventures, and then we had some spin-offs like Hot Diggity Dog Tales, Chippendales Nutty Tales, and
Right.
then we had the features, Mickey and Minnie Wish Upon a Christmas, Tale of Two
Yeah.
Witches. There was even a stop motion thing that we did for the holidays, which was really cool.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Cool stuff. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
I
It
agree.
was
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting because, I remember growing up as a kid, there was like House of Mouse,
Oh
and then there
yeah.
was like Mickey Mouse
Mhm.
Clubhouse. And
Yeah.
it's cool that they're kind of continuing down the path of like the CGI Mickey, because now they're coming out with like a new Mickey Mouse Clubhouse series, Mickey Mouse
Yes.
Clubhouse
Yeah.
2.0, which is
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's
Right.
right.
pretty
We
cool.
had Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse Fun House. I did some. I
Yeah.
didn't voice Donald on that one, but I did some other fun characters. And yeah, I think there's been an announcement about a new clubhouse too.
Yeah.
Lovely.
That's great. Even though you kind of, you did a little bit of him earlier, but is it fine we can hear a little bit of Donald Duck?
Yeah. Well, what can I say? You want to do season? You know what the house but you want to do boy. And of course, Daisy. Oh, I love Daisy.
That's
Nah,
great.
that's wonderful.
That's wonderful. Hi, Donald.
It kind of cut out a little bit there.
As Zoom likes to do.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It's okay though.
Yeah.
That's fine.
There's it all. So, of course, aside from voicing Donald Duck, of course, you voice various characters in the Nickelodeon series. Bunsen is a beast. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, Bunsen is a beast. That was fun. That was the first time I got to work with Butch Hartman, who created the Fairly Odd Parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good
Interesting
shows.
things that are intricate to people's integral to people's childhoods. Yeah, I got to work with him and got to learn his unique sense of humor, and he liked what I did, and he just kept bringing me back and saying, "Hey, we've got extra voices for you," and I'm like just excited to be working at Nickelodeon. So yeah, I really appreciated that, and it was a joy to work on that show. I played the Keeper of the Cures, which was a very fun character. Kind of similar to Edwin, from Mary Poppins or Alice in Wonderland, that some people may know. The newer generation goes, "Oh, you're doing King Candy," and I'm like, "Well, King Candy is an impression of Edwin,
Right.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of all of the same thing, you know what I'm saying?" But yeah, that was a really fun show, and the first time I really got to play utility, which just means you come in and do a bunch of different voices, and I really loved that. That was playing into my strengths.
Nice.
Absolutely. So you also lent your voice to several characters on the Tom and Jerry show. Now let's clarify this for you viewers. This is not the one that premiered in 1975. Okay, this is the
New
modern one. Let's get that straight. Just wanted to get that straight.
Yes,
There.
but
What
it
was it
was
like working on that show?
1975, and I just moisturize a lot, so I look good. Yeah, I think that one came out. Was it 2014? I want to say.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was around,
sounds
it was
about right.
around that time.
somewhere around there.
And I was on the show for 3 seasons. I played a little German mouse named Rutger. It's so much fun playing tricks on the cats and all of that stuff. That was a lot of fun. I played characters like Santa Claus and Igor, who was named Dave for some reason. Dave was one of my favorite little characters. Oh yes, let's enjoy the menacing. He was a lot of fun. But yeah, that was another show that brought me in and said, "Hey, we want you to do a bunch of voices," and I'm like, "Sweet, this is awesome." Thank you for trusting me to be in that position.
So you also got to voice Lucky the Leprechaun for the Lucky Charms commercials. At least several of them. What was voicing him like?
They're magically delicious. You're not after me, Lucky Charms, are you? It was so much fun. Commercials are a very different beast than animation in general. But when you have, character mascots for brands, it's as close to animation as you can get. And so they really wanted me to emulate a former voice of Lucky, Doug Prees, who had a very nice Irish voice. He was very soft. And so they wanted me to emulate him. And so I did my best, to do that. And we did a bunch of different commercials. I think I voiced him from 2015 to 2017. But there have been many voices of Lucky the Leprechaun over the years. I think something like 50, 55 plus years. He's been in the zeitgeist, and there have been lots of people who have voiced him. So I loved Lucky Charms as a kid, and I used to pick out all the marshmallows and mush them into a ball and eat that ball. And then, of course, after I looked like I murdered a unicorn because of all the colors on my hands. And so, so much. And my parents would not let me have it. Only my grandparents would allow me to get to go visit because they.
That's wonderful.
Just a mental image makes
Oh
it
my
interesting.
Yes.
Right.
That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, moving on from your TV and film work, you also provide voiceover for video games, including voicing Starscream and the Transformers game. So what was doing that like?
Oh my gosh. Well, so Transformers back in 2007, this was right after the first Michael Bay movie came out. And so this was a video game based off of the movie. And I campaigned to be a part of that. I didn't have a fancy agent at the time. I, again, lived in Maryland, just didn't have access to things that you would in Hollywood. But I really wanted to find a way if there was some measure that I could marry my hobby and my craft And so I created a comic book that I sent to Steven Spielberg and Michael Bay that featured myself in a story with the Transformers. And, just said, hey, I'd love a shot. I'd love an audition. And I got an audition, which was mind-boggling to me. And I auditioned for the movie for the Autobots, because at the time the Decepticons didn't have any lines. Megatron spoke, but that was it. And then they added a line for Starscream later on in the process. So we had to figure out what that voice was going to sound like. And me, as a huge Transformers fan, Chris Latta did the original voice back in the 80s. Decepticons, retreat! And also voiced Cobra Commander and similar voice. And so I was like, how do I do something new but honor what came before? And they said, we really want you to do a voice that's going to scare kids. That was my direction, and I'm like, okay. So I went with something very breathy like this. And they're like, yeah, that's great. That's what we want. And I show up to record, and they're like, you know what? Scrap that. We just want a light British accent. And I said, oh, you're telling me you want Starscream to sound like this? And they're like, yeah, that's perfect. And I said, please don't fire me right now. And they're like, okay, what do you got? And I'm like, Decepticons, this is Starscream. Make for the rendezvous point. The Allspark will soon be ours. And they're like, yeah, that works. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm not fired, great. So, that's what we ended up doing. And it was so cool to just kind of like create in the moment. Carl Weathers was my director, my voice director for the game.
Oh, wow.
The late
Nice.
Apollo Creed. He was
Oh,
incredible
rest his
to work
soul.
with. And so, that was a whole experience. And again, really set my trajectory on my path towards wanting to be a voice actor. I loved it so much. And video games, I mean, that was just so cool.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Very, very, very cool. Yes. So, one of your latest voice roles, which actually just came out a few months ago, was Multiverses. It's a free-to-play game for those curious. What was working on that like?
It was fantastic. I mean, I received auditions just like I would for anything else. And I was reading for a character named Uncle Shagworthy, who was based off of, the character from Scooby-Doo who had appeared, I think, in one episode. And so I voiced Uncle Shagworthy, who was a fun character to play. And then I got auditions for Gizmo and Stripe from the Gremlins movies.
Yes.
And of course, Stripe, Stripe. So I was just so excited to be voicing those characters, and for a really cool game. That was really fun. And I think what was most intriguing to me was the fact that there's limited dialogue between Gizmo and Stripe in the first Gremlins movie. And so we really had to make a lot of it up as we went. And like I was talking about Donald earlier, I want to get it right for the fans who know that character, who have fond memories of that character. I want them to hear my voice and go, that's the thing that I love. And so it took a lot of work and a lot of patience, but I think we found a good balance in between that. And I was very happy with that performance.
Nice.
That's
So
wonderful.
now, currently you are also the new voice of Grimace for McDonald's. What's it like voicing Grimace?
Yeah, Grimace. He's one of my favorites. Grimace. Again, just such a fun, iconic character. Probably the most well-known fast food mascot of all time. He's purple. He is a Grimace. People like to say he's a taste bud or some other things. And no, he is a Grimace. He's from the land of Grimace. So that's the answer. But yeah, McDonald's called and I heeded the call and I said, yes, let me jump on that. And so we did a commercial, a couple of commercials with Grimace for his birthday shake. And then something happens that you all probably are familiar with all over social media. People started pouring the shake all over themselves and claiming that they were doing it for Grimace, or Grimace made them do it, and he was after them, and he turned into some kind of eldritch god that required human sacrifice. it was a very interesting time.
Yeah.
And so, I got a lot of messages from people saying like, "Give me my family back. Why did you take my dog? Why did you burn my house down?" And I'm like, "It wasn't me. It
Oh
wasn't
my
me."
god. No.
But Grimace did very well. McDonald's made a lot of money, and hopefully they'll bring me back at some point.
That would be nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very, very popular in New York right now, especially with the Mets and all.
Oh yes, indeed. And I
Yeah.
from what I understand, the Grimace Shake is coming to Canada and the UK. But
Oh.
I haven't
Oh, wow.
been told anything. I haven't been
That's
involved in it.
interesting.
I don't think there's any Grimace commercials coming out that I'm aware of.
Either
We'll
that
see.
or something. I don't know.
No, you never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Since we're getting close to wrap things up soon, can you share any projects you're currently working on?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, as I mentioned before, I'm in an upcoming movie called Stinky Summer. It's an on-camera role. I'm not doing voiceover this time. I play an international spy who's after some interesting software, and I basically traumatize these children at their summer camp, and they set lots of traps for me, and I fall into them hilariously. It's a family comedy. I'm so grateful to be a part of it, and it'll be out September 10th on demand and digital. So do check it out. And
Nice,
then I'm
will
also
do.
writing a book right now. I'm writing
Looking
a
forward
children's
to it.
book,
Oh,
bedtime
nice.
story,
That's
based
great.
off of characters that my mom created back in the early 80s, and she used to tell me bedtime stories about. And so I figure what better way to honor her and the legacy that she left with me, the creative spark that she instilled inside of me, than to condense it and enshrine it into a book that can be passed on for other people. So that's what I'm working on right now. And there's some really cool voiceover stuff coming in 2025 that I cannot talk about just yet. So stay tuned. And if you'd like to follow my shenanigans online, you can find me at actor Daniel Ross across social media.
Yes.
Nice. Looking forward for what's coming in the near future.
Very excited.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Absolutely. So to wrap this up, this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of, or how would you define nostalgia?
Well, nostalgia is a huge part of growing up. I think, as we get older, there's a special place in our heart that our inner child lies in. And sometimes we forget about it as we get older. And I like to participate in roles and characters that spark that little bit of light that we have inside of us. I like being a custodian of that special place inside of other people. And so nostalgia is huge for me. I'm big on nostalgia from the 80s and early 90s when I grew up. I've been listening to lots of music back from that time frame to just kind of get myself back in that headspace, and it makes me feel young. It makes me feel youthful. It makes me feel happy. And it's intrinsic to, really special memories that I have with family who isn't necessarily here anymore, or flavors or smells. I'm a very sensory person. And so nostalgia is everything to me, but you can never lose sight of the future as well. You have to have your nostalgia, but you have to remember there's a future as well. And that nostalgia will follow you as time progresses.
Love that. Great words.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Here's
Yes,
to you.
Yes.
Daniel.
Thank you
Thanks a
for
lot
this, Daniel.
for
This was a
this.
blast.
A pleasure.
Take care. Bye.
And to goodbye from us as well. Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show with the wonderful Daniel Ross. Links to his website and social media will be in the description down below. For anyone who wants to connect with him or check out his on-camera acting or voice acting work. But keep a lookout for more wonderful interviews coming your way. As always, what do we say, Jake?
Keep nostalgia alive to game one. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Be sure to follow Jake and the Happy Nostalgia team on social media, check out our website, and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.